And we're away, mate.
Did your family get to Spain right then?
Yeah, man.
They gone to the villa?
Yeah, the villa, yeah. Right, we are live. We are live, so we'll see what we get over here.
Look.
Hey, do me a favor, just go on the YouTube, make sure you can hear us both and everything sounds okay.
Oh, there we go.
I'm probably like the only viewer.
I like the new interface.
Does it look good?
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear us.
Alright, wicked.
Smash that like button.
Okay, we'll give it a few minutes for a few people to join. And then we'll see what's going on.
Be looking for a 30-minute close, you think?
It depends. I think if you got a 15-minute
close below.
Yeah, below like 152, 311. But apart from that, I think realistically you're gonna need to wait for the 30-minute. I think if you wait for the 30-minute, you know, be safer, obviously. Right, even if not many people join, we'll just make a start anyway. Because we don't have all day. What's going on, Aper? Where did I go? I had a little bit of a break. Bit of a break from the YouTube. But we're back.
Still been at it though, haven't we?
Huh?
We've still been at it.
Yeah, we've still been at it, but just not on the YouTube. But now I'm looking to get back onto the YouTube on a regular basis, but not necessarily like every day. Just a couple times a week. But I thought I'd go live today. I was just like, yeah, I fancy doing it. Why not? Bit of fun. But yes, we're back now. We're back. Right, let's let's just go ahead and make a start. Okay, perfect. But yeah, probably lost all my people that used to come regularly, but that's okay, because we're gonna find new ones. Right. Okay. So I was just looking at the 4 hour, and if we just kind of remove all analysis here, the thing that's kind of really striking me at the minute with the 4 hour is obviously we're kind of creating this a bit of consolidation here. We had the same kind of thing here previously, so what I'm looking at now, even though we haven't got a lot of people, but that's okay, we're just gonna make a start. What I'm kind of looking at here, what we got going on here, is what we can clearly see is happening, or has happened previously, where we kind of got this consolidation, right? We got this consolidation where we clearly created like a very distinct range, where you can see these lower levels support, higher levels of resistance, but we still drop, right? But we created a consolidation. What we're kind of doing the same thing here is we're creating that range consolidation, but what I'm paying attention to is obviously with this situation we broke higher than this resistance, but we rejected this support here to left hand side, which is a rejection area. Now if we was to stretch that left, we're actually rejecting that same level. If we just remove everything, and then it would be a lot more sense. So this level right here, we're now rejecting again, right? We're now rejecting. So over here currently we're rejecting where we rejected previously, right? And we're creating that same resistance. Where's our support levels? Well, our support levels are right here. So here's your range. So if we're looking for sells based off that idea, then you're looking for some form of a minor resistance to be forming to push down to this support on the 4 hour time frame, right? But we don't know that this current 4 hour might not wanna do something like this, come up and close above. So until we see confirmation to say that, you know, price is breaking above this resistance area, and if you want to be kind of like more specific, you could draw a zone, because this is a zone. This is your key resistance zone right here, right? You would want to see smaller time frames breaking above this area to continue bullish, right? But until then, you're presuming that since we failed to break this resistance here previously, right, and here again, you're now looking for an opportunity to take a sell coming down to your support, right? But that's just based off the 4 hour time frame, but we're just looking at that for the minute. Okay, let's take a look at the 15-minute candle. 15-minute candle is kind of bearish at the moment, which is good. But if we're looking for sells based off the 15-minute candle, we're going to need to see kind of a structural confirmation there, because we don't know whether 15-minute candle on its own is going to be enough for us to continue down. So for me, I'd say if you want to jump in on the 15, it'd probably be below this kind of previous level support right there. If we close below that, then I think that's clearly showing signs of volume to head back down to our like 152, 200, etc. But I think that if we can stay above that, and then the 30-minute candle can close bearish anywhere, even over here, whatever, then we can have a decent sell still coming down based off of the probabilities. So we're gonna wait and see, because we've got like 3 minutes left for the 15-minute candle to close. Let's look at the 1 hour. 1 hour candle closed bullish, but this current 1 hour candle is coming down. 4 hour candle still bullish at the moment, but we know what we're kind of dealing with at the moment. We're seeing rejection of this previous level of 4 hour resistance, so now we are starting to create that solid structural point. So if you look at where we're at right now, let's just to say we were closed right over here, you know, then range wise you're looking at kind of retesting the lows about 7-8 pips. you've got targets down back at like 152, 180, but I think realistically we can try and get all the way down to about 152, 100. If not, I think 152 flat would be a good opportunity. I think 152 flat would make the most sense. So let's go with it. So we're just gonna wait and see over here. But yeah, I think always the safest option is to wait for the 30-minute. If you wait for the 30-minute, you're gonna be the most consistent. But obviously, you know, there's probabilities that you may miss that move as well, because sometimes, you know, a good enough 15-minute candle is gonna give you that opportunity to get into a trade.
Yeah, it's like the moment, obviously, the hour closed previously quite bullish. You've got this one not making a top wick yet, so...
Yeah, you might want to potentially wait for the 30-minute to give yourself a better confirmation. Yeah, plus the 30-minute's currently got no top wick, which is a concern, right? If you're looking to get in on the 15-minute, especially if you're looking to get in somewhere over here, would that make sense? Probably not, right? Because we may want to wick up again and then come back down, right? So we have one person comment so far, but we've got 5 people on, which is good. I hope everyone's doing well. Good to be back. I always knew. I know I didn't kind of like advertise we were gonna go live today, but that's fine. Just thought I'd go for it. Why not? But the main point is we are back and it's pretty good. Bit of fun. Right, so the 15-minute candle's coming to a close over here. And I think it's safe to say that this is not going to be a sufficient confirmation yet for a sell, in my opinion. Then we're going to need to wait over here for something a little bit more solid. Even if I was to look for a sell, I'd still now be very concerned the fact that we are closing above these 2 key levels, right? So now what we'd probably ideally want to see is for this candle to break the high, which is fine, right? Create some form of a rejection wick in this area, right? And then finish off bearish, leaving the 30-minute in a solid play, and then we're going to look to take sells after that. But if the 30-minute obviously closes bullish back in the range, then you know the sells is out of the question, right? You know, if the 30-minute closes in the range, then we can talk about buys, but buys very, very tricky, right? You have resistance right here, resistance right here. So unless you're getting in a buy somewhere around here, looking to get to there, and then see if we're going to break above, see maybe if you're looking for continuation, then that might work out. But trying to take a buy potentially above here is going to be tough because we can pull back, we can do a lot of things. But maybe the safest option then would be to say, okay, I want to wait till we're above all of these 4-hour levels, which is going to be above our 4-hour resistance, right, that we spoke about. It's going to be above these levels right here, and then you can look left and happily say you have clean moves coming up after that. So that's what you're going to want to focus on, right? Right, let me add to that. So you've only got a danger point above that 4-hour resistance, around 152.714, right? So you're still talking of a good 13 pip range, but you know you could potentially do better than that because that's only a potential level of reaction. If we're looking at the most recent 4-hour, I'm looking at this big fat 4-hour candle. We're not looking at targets until we're way up over here. Right, we're not looking at targets until we're way up over at like 153. Okay, and then we've got this previous 4-hour resistance as well, potential danger zone, but nothing too concerning. But that's realistic, your ultimate targets at the end of the day. So we can see now the 30-minute candles obviously flipping back bullish. It's breaking the highs. It's trying to come back into the range. So we're going to have to wait either way for the 30-minute candle to close over here to know whether we want to take some form of a sell, or if we're going to miss a selling opportunity and have to wait for a potential buying opportunity, right? But yes, how's everyone been on the YouTube? Hope everyone's been well. Chart isn't visible much. Have to zoom in more. Okay, I'll zoom in a bit more like that. Have it a bit more right in the biggest part of the screen. It might be slightly better there. I can also do this. Make that a bit wider. So that's fine. Awesome. Yeah, looks like the 30-minute candle is trying to come back in the range. But yeah, guys, so it looks like what we're going to be doing is going back live probably Mondays and Fridays. But for the minute, I'm happy to just jump on whenever. And then from next week, I think we'll come back on like Mondays, Fridays, something like that. Maybe even Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'll see. Nice to have you back. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I think since I've taken a break from the YouTube and really worked on myself and my own trading ability, I think it's going to be great, because now I can come back to the community, come back to the YouTube guys, and really give you guys even more good free value that I can help provide and answer any questions. So me personally, I've gone away and done, I would say, hundreds of hours of just work on my own ability, and things that I maybe have not looked at before, and adding things. And so time away from your normal is good, because it allows you to progress, so that's what I've tried to do, and it's great to be back, and it'll be amazing to be able to share everything that I've kind of learned on top of what I already knew, as well as the way that I like to approach the market now. So pleased about that. But we're just waiting nicely over here. I think if we got a 30-minute now, that would be beautiful, because of the coming into the range. And then if the 30-minute was closed bearish, right, then we'd have a rejection of the range, and then we can look to fill our current range.
Yeah, at least you made a top wick now, so you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, for the 30-minute to close bearish, the 15-minute candle would have to at least respect this resistance, which is kind of positive to say we've broken up into the range, and there is a rejection being, like a rejection occurring, so to speak. But yeah, really appreciate the guys coming on, girls, all guys coming on this morning. Appreciate it was a bit late notice, but anyway, we're here to trade, answer questions, help one another, right? But yeah, we've got about 8 minutes left, so I think there's a good amount of time to wait at this point to see what we're going to do in this situation or not. This range right here, this is going to be tricky, because there's a lot of danger. So I think if you were going to take some form of a buy above this resistance, it would make sense, but you need to understand that you're coming into many 4-hour danger zones, so you just want to watch these kind of levels. yes, how's everyone been? What's everyone been up to? How's everyone's trading been going? All important things. All important things. Hopefully everyone's trading's been going very well. That's what I would like to hear. Do you know what? I was actually expecting less than 10 people, so to have 10 on the first day back, I'm pretty happy with that. I was expecting maybe like 1.
7 likes as well, so it's well received.
Has it got 7 likes?
Yeah.
Mine says only 3.
Maybe refresh it if you can.
Oh yeah, 6 likes. I got 6 likes.
Oh,
nice.
6 now, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I think someone just removed it as we spoke. That's cool. But yeah, awesome. Very nice. Okay, Ellen, we've got 6 minutes. 6 minutes over here. But yeah. Yeah, it will take a while to get, people aware that I'm back and stuff, but that's fine. That's how we want it. Very tough to watch a stream. Fonts are small and it's zoomed out. It shouldn't be. I mean, I'm looking at it on my phone right now and it seems fine. I think what you need to do is you want to go to your settings on the quality, and you wanna use a higher quality for the video, right? So I can't really zoom in anymore, to be honest. I'll tell you what I can do. I can make the. Is there really any point? I have to go through the whole lot.
Well, to be fair, I can see it on my phone, so.
Yeah, seems alright.
Obviously, it's not the clearest compared to the laptop.
No, I get. I get. It's probably not the clearest. Yeah. What I could quickly do is just quickly change the font size a little bit, make it a bit bigger. Quite happy to do that. Right, let's look at the 4 hour. Sorry, let's just. I'll make them slightly bigger, just so hopefully you guys can see them. I'll put it up by 1. So hopefully that should make a bit of a difference. Okay, John, what was the biggest change or improvement you found in your trading during your break? I found that I would say the biggest change that I needed to make was being less aggressive, I'd say, in certain circumstances, and just stick to what I was always and what I kind of always have been best at, and that was waiting for solid confirmation. I think that's kind of like I discovered. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but I suppose in the sense what I mean is obviously you wait for confirmations, you get a breakout, etc., and that always used to be my type of trade. However, we knew that GJ when it had a lot of volume, you would have days where it would not do that. It would be most of the time there would be more impulsive entries, and I started to get involved more deeply with the impulse entries, taking more riskier trades, and it just didn't really work in my favor. So for me, I think I just had to get back to a point where I found even if there's no trade, I say no trade because it's an impulsive move. But what I want to focus on entirely is solid confirmation trades that are going to allow me to have a solid win rate. So for example, now since doing that in July, I've only had 1 loss for the whole of July so far, right? 1 loss for the whole of July, and the rest have all been wins and break evens. So exactly, so I think all in all it's a pretty good situation now, but the impulse entries, yeah, definitely I think important to stay away from. So we're just looking at the 15-minute at this point now, and the 30-minute. Obviously, you can clearly identify that we are not going to potentially close below at this point. It's breaking its own high. It's actually trying to come up to this resistance. The issue I have with taking a buy right over here above this resistance right here, it does make sense, don't get me wrong. It's a good shout, but there's two things. First of all, there's usually going to be a pullback for the next candle, right? The other issue is it's about a 20 pip stop at this point. So I like the idea that we are starting to break above, right? So I'm happy with that. But what we could wait for is a further pullback and then look to get into a trade. For the minute, it's going to be a little bit tricky. But if you really want to go for it, you know, this 30-minute close would be solid, right? We're going to close above the 4-hour resistance at this point if it does close above. You know, you have your 1-hour candle now flipping bullish. But now you have to remember where we're at. We're coming up to the next levels of resistance, right? So we don't know yet still whether we're going to reject or continue. But the way that this 4-hour candle is setting up, if you look, we're breaking above our most recent resistance, which means that we're more likely to push up into this deeper level. This is where we can either reject. So my personal viewpoint is either looking for some form of a retracement around this area to get into a buy, or quite happy to wait to see how we react in this situation, and then maybe look for buys above like 152.580, because if I can look for buys above like 152.580, then I can have a much cleaner trade buy coming up to about 0.700, right? But if I wait for buys over here, we could fake out, we could reject anywhere in this kind of vicinity. Look at these previous levels that we have within this area that are going to cause us a lot of issue. But at the same time, if you like the idea of the fact that you have a solid 7 a.m. candle closing above your most recent resistance, then that's for you to try and look to get into that. But the way that we've set it up here, right, I would want to see at least one more kind of pullback into the range and then see a rejection. Then I'd be happy to say, cool, we should at that point at least push up to our resistance level that we have, our deeper resistance level on the 4-hour time frame. Right, so the 30-minute candle has closed. The 30-minute candle has closed above our resistance level. So if you want to go with that, that's a shot, right? That's an opportunity. There is an opportunity. It's going to cost you about 20 pips worth of stops, and you might say to yourself, but there's only like a 10 pip range, maybe 11. Is it really worth it? Well, that's up to you, right? That's up to you whether it's worth it from your comfortability aspect, but it may not be. You know, you might also want to say, okay, I'm going to wait to see a bottom wick first and then take a buy. That's also okay, because then you want to make sure that we're not trying to just come straight back into the range at that point. You know, if we got a 30-minute candle that closed something like that, then it's going to be a very different story. We would then at that point be now looking for this again. Okay. Earlier you were trading in wrong time where much movement wasn't happening. When was that? You mean this morning, like 7 a.m., 6:30? Yeah, that's just the time that I kind of naturally start looking through the London session. But doesn't mean I'm actively looking to trade at that particular time.
I think
right.
he means like previously when you were trading, you were like taking impulses where there wasn't any volume.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a point. That's a point. But still, I think overall impulse entries, yeah, I don't believe it's worth it, so to speak. You know, to get into those on a consistent basis.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, isn't it? Because like in sometimes in London you have volume, sometimes you have periods where you don't. So you just got to stick to that same session and adapt to it.
I mean earlier live stream. Oh, maybe because I think he means because I used to start at like 6:30. Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. There's lack of volume, but there can be volume at those times. Trust me, because It's a good time that sometimes I get into a trade. That's why I start looking. My official, the London session officially starts when this 4-hour candle opens, and that 4-hour candle opens at 6 a.m. So I will be looking at 6 a.m. because what I'm interested in is what the previous 4-hour candle done. So what can we see? The previous 4-hour candle engulfed the previous 4-hour candle before that. It rejected. So if this current 4-hour candle is bullish and it's not respecting this as a resistance, that means there's a higher probability that we're gonna go up, right? But I think I'd love to see a bit of a rejection from around like 152, 400, and then I'd be pretty happy getting into a buy over here. Just because what I've seen is whenever we're below the range and your bias is sells, and then you kind of get one candle that just kind of breaks through both and then closes above like that, usually there's some form of a pullback, and then we extend that move if we're going to go that way. How about streaming NYC Open where there is much movement? I mean, not really. It doesn't really suit. It doesn't really suit me personally, to be honest, because of the time. I can't actually do it. It's in the afternoon for me, which is when I want to have my time spare. That's why I do the London session, because I can get up early for the London session, and I can obviously trade that in the morning and then have the rest of the day to myself. So, but I mean, you know, if we could maybe do like an NYC special one time, I mean, it's not gonna hurt. But for the minute, London session is you know, it's been the thing that I've been doing for about coming up to a year now. You know, if you guys been following me since day one, you know that obviously I used to do the NY stream, and then about a year ago I moved over to the London session because it made more sense for my lifestyle. So obviously this is my first like official year doing the London session, and I have to admit it took a while. It took a long while actually to kind of get used to the way that the London session moves. But after that whole year of experience with it, I think you finally start to realize, you know, how you basically get you understand it. You start to get to know it a lot better. So after a year, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good, so I'm happy. So yeah, I think we're gonna at least have to see this like first 15-minute candle close, because like I say, you know, it can keep flipping bullish, etc. But at the end of the day, it's only the first 15 minutes, right? So the first 15 minutes, and we just don't know if it's gonna push up a little bit higher or if we're gonna retrace a lot more. So, you know, it made a bottom wick, flip bullish, and then now it's back to where it made its low wick. So some people might have jumped in on that thinking that's the bottom wick, and it's just not at this point. Well, we don't know yet. So it's always gonna be important to wait. What lot size am I trading now? I mean, I'm still well, I'm on the one lots at the minute. That's just because I wanted to drop my lot size down, put less pressure on it. I've been doing the one lots for about 4 months now, and yeah, it's been going really well. So that's why my lot sizes are increasing from next week to 2 lots, back to 2 lots. But you know, in trading, it's a marathon, right? It's not a race. You know, if I was to say, okay, right now I'm back to where I want to be. Now I've pulled it back. Let's go back to the 5 lots. That's going to be a little bit silly, right? Because now you're starting to rush again. So for me, it was like, cool, I'm back consistent to how I want to be in my trading, profitability wise, win rate, etc., which I'm happy about. Now I can make that slow transition back to a slightly higher lot. Not going to just jump back to where I was. So, you know, if I do it, increase the lot size every month or every couple of months, that will then mean a few months down the line I'll be back to where I was. And I think anyway, you know, what I'm doing on the one lots now is pretty solid in comparison to what I would have done, you know, with higher lot sizes, because I only used to take like 10 pips and whatnot. Now I'm willing to let positions run a little bit longer, sometimes up to 15, sometimes up to 20. So positions could be bigger profits. So yeah, so I think overall 1 lots and then be back to the 2 lots by August. Monday next Monday I'll be on the 2 lots with August. But yeah, as you can see right here, those who did not take those buys right now are currently feeling a lot more or a lot less pressured at this point, because you can see you'd be running in drawdown, because we always get these pullbacks, right? That's what I said. Whenever we get these situations where one candle, when the bias originally sells and you get one candle that flips the whole bias like that and breaks above resistance and whatnot, you're always going to get some kind of a pullback, and that's exactly what we're getting right now with this 15-minute candle. So where would be a good place to sell right now if you guys were looking for a sell based off the original idea that we said, right? Well, obviously the 30 minutes is going to be the safest, but what do we create right here? Well, we create a support. We create a support, and if we kind of neglect that and we get, you know, a decent close, it might be worth a shot in somebody's eyes, right? Because we're now doing what? We're breaking our most recent support. So what makes sense at that point? But also what makes sense would be to wait for the 30-minute candle to close, because then I know that I can have a very easy sell coming down based off of my probabilities and what but yes, I don't think the lot size really matters. That's the one thing I realized. I used to think lot size really mattered about trading, but it really doesn't, because if you can't do it with a 1 lot, you're never going to do it with a 10 lot. So, you know, there's just no point there's no point trying to rush that, so to speak. You know, you want to almost you almost want to humble yourself in trading constantly. You know, always look to take things slow, etc. What's going on, David? Hey brother, haven't seen you live in a long time. Good to have you back. Really appreciate that, David. Thank you very much. It is great to be back. It's great to be back. I feel like I can really help a lot of people in a much better manner now going forward, because at the end of the day, I feel like I definitely solidly much more experienced with the London session, and I just think trading overall, you know, when you have hiccups in anything that you do, whether it be a business, whether it be like training for sports, and you have an injury and it tests you as a character, and you come back stronger, that's when you can really take your own ability to the next level. And that's how I feel. I feel like an athlete that had a hamstring injury, and now I'm back on the track. So that's how I feel right now. And we're going to zoom in a little bit more for those who say they can't see the screen. But yeah, it's going to be really important, I think, to wait for the 30-minute candle to close today. I really do. Because that way we're going to make sure that this 30-minute candle is not going to like close like this, or, you know, some form of like respecting of our previous levels. Right, and then if we can have the 30-minute close back below both levels, then I'd be pretty happy at that point to say, okay, where are we heading? Original target, original bias, everything the same. Everything spoke about. Remember, this was your 4-hour R, right? This level right here was your 4-hour R. We said that. This candle broke that. If this candle can't respect that, then that means we're faking out of the same 4-hour resistance. That means we're rejecting. So your current 4-hour candle is also rejecting where your previous level of resistance was as well. Okay? But I think if the 15-minute was to close below this support, that is 100% a good option as well. But obviously we always say safest is the 30-minute. But you have to understand what your 15 minutes are doing, because sometimes they're gonna, if there's a lot of volume, this might be your confirmation candle, right? But if there's not a lot of volume, you may get the next 15 do that, and then your whole idea is invalid, and then it's, oh, I should have waited for the 30. Well, stick to one, you know. So for me, it is going to be to wait for the 30-minute, because that's going to be the safest option. And then
I think what we've done is we've kind of like come back up to around 500, which is like the daily resistance level.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to reject for that.
Exactly. I think as well, like, it's pushed up to the 4 hour. If you're seeing signs of a fake out of your most recent 4 hour resistance, that's not kind of looking, it's almost like telling you, okay, we're not going up. So if we're not going up, which way are we going? Well, okay, let's say we want to go down. Have we got confirmation? Well, yes, we are starting to close back below, but we need this counter to close, and then we would have that tick, and then bosh, that's what our target would be. Just still kind of waiting over here. But yeah, really appreciate all you guys that have made an effort today to come onto the stream. So I really appreciate you guys. Not a lot of us, but community is community, right? Right, so how long we got for this 30 minutes? Still got 16 minutes left for the 30-minute counter to close. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go make a drink. I'm going to be back in a minute. And we're going to come back. I'm going to personally wait for the 30-minute, right? Obviously, I'm here to help others, make their own ideas. If you like the idea of this 15-minute candle, because we've broken our most recent support, if you like that idea, then go with it. If you want to wait for the 30-minute to be safer, then I also stand with you on that. So it depends. It depends on your comfortability. If you're comfortable with a 15-minute confirmation, then go with it. Understand that where your stops need to be. Your stops need to be at least 500, right? But we already know that waiting for the 30 is going to be the easiest option that you can have, right? And since this 15-minute candle in the last minute is now starting to retrace above this support, we don't know yet if this is a fake out, because what can easily happen is if the next 15-minute candle goes bullish, your 30-minute candle is going to close very different to the way that you expected it to. Okay? So we'll wait the 25 seconds. I'll go make a drink, and then after that it's clear we're going to have to wait for the 30-minute candle to close, right? So, yeah, look at the 15-minute candle now. This is why you also wait for candles to close, because this is the one thing I learned. Someone, or me back in the day, might have taken a sell there. And then now you're panicking. Now you're feeling anxious. So now it's important to wait. Now, seriously important to wait. And why do we always wait for the 30-minute? Precisely. And then those who are looking for buys, now what you might want to start doing, would you look at this as a rejection now, potentially, to start going up, right? Remember, what's our actual confirmation that we have right now? This candle right here. That's your confirmation candle, because it broke above resistance. This candle is still open, so we don't know that it's faking out yet. If anything, it's now created its bottom wick in its first half of the candle, and now it's looking to flip. If this 30-minute candle potentially flips bullish, right, then there is an opportunity, because we said I would want to see a rejection of a previous level. We've got that now, and also kind of respecting this area too. So by rejecting all the way down over here and here, it's doing that, right? So if we look at the smaller time frames, like your 5-minute time frame, right, you can see we're now moving back up, and you can see the 30-minute candle is about to flip bullish, right? So if you're using the current candle stops, if you want to take a buy, you're looking at least a 14 pip stop. But if you want to use the previous candle, which is always going to be safest, you're going to want a 20 pip stop. And it's interesting to see, that obviously those who would have taken buys right here would have experienced all that drawdown when we were just chilling, and then now you could be looking to get in positions if you really wanted to, based off the confirmation we said, and then now look to have a drawdown free trade, because we don't know yet if we're going to fake out because it hasn't closed. But what we're looking at from a 15 perspective, there's a clear rejection, right? We've got the current 15-minute candle moving bullish back up to resistance. So you may even want to say to yourself, alright, if a 5-minute candle breaks above this area right here, then I'll go with it. That's going to be maybe a safer option than those waiting for the 30-minute to flip, right? Because then if you've got a 5-minute candle closing above here, well, what are you going to expect? You're going to expect another high to be made, right? Look at the structure. What's the structure on the 5? Bullish, right? Short term bullish. What are we doing? We're going that way, short term. What we're doing higher time frame, that. So we now need the two. We need the two to interlink. Give us confirmation for each. So I'm going to be back in about 10 minutes. Bear with me, and I'm going to leave you on the 30-minute chart. Okay, but we've discussed the ideas so far. So bear with me, and I'll be back. Kelsey, I'll be back in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, cool. I'll grab a drink as well.
Yeah, no worries, and then we'll carry on. Right, okay. What's up, guys? We're back. So we got 4.5 minutes remaining, and I think if this 30-minute candle can close back below our key price level at 152.392, then I think it's going to be a good opportunity to take potential sells coming down. Right. I think that would make sense. So we've got like 4 minutes left over here to give that idea a chance, right? So we're gonna have to wait for the 30-minute candle to close over here, but I think that's gonna be a good idea coming into the London Open for us to continue bearish. I think it's gonna be a good idea. But we're gonna have to wait for this 30-minute candle to close over here. Oh, it's breaking its own low in the last 3 minutes, which is tricky, but that's okay, right? Because it is what it is. You have to wait for the candle to close. Okay. So even if it runs, then you have to say it is what it is. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. There was no other selling opportunity, right? You couldn't have sold there because it was a bullish bias. So you're gonna have to, at this point, wait for a 30-minute candle to close. You're now looking at a much bigger stop loss as well, right? But that's okay. We're gonna see. Mr. Kelsey there. Nope. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're just gonna wait the 2 minutes over here. Even better, in fact, if it can close below 152.358. I think even better if it can close below that. That's the ideal area, to be honest. But you could still go with the 30-minute. But I think it's going to be even better if we can close below 152.357. Right over here. It's going to be a good place for it to close below. Saying? Sprays you everywhere. Yeah, I know. Oh. Huh? I'm gonna re-up today. Jake. Or Alfie, see if he's got the Z cube. Right, one sec. Sorry? Teasing. Yeah. The thing is like I was just saying, is ideally I would want it to close below like 152.358. To be honest, that would be an amazing. If you got the 30-minute close below there, that'd be an amazing opportunity. But since if it closes above 152.393, then at that point I would then wait for a break above 152.471 to look for a buy, because then we're clearly respecting the previous level of support, which it looks like it is doing in the last 30 seconds over here. But we shall see. It does seem like it's gonna close back in this minor range, which means there's no sells and technically there's no buys if it does that, right? But this is exactly why it's so important to wait for the 30-minute candle to close. Alex, please review my chart. Yes, I can if you send in your chart, mate. You need to send in the code, and then I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah, so if you look at the 30-minute candle right now, 30-minute candle closed bearish, right? It did do a fake out. However, we closed above our previous level of support. So for me, there's no trade. 1 hour candle closed bullish and not bearish, right? So for me, there's no opportunity at this point. We're still rejecting to the downside. So I personally think for a buy, I think you could even have a buy if a 15-minute candle was to close above 152 473, which is what the first 15 minutes of London Open is already doing. But yeah, that's what I would now wait for at that point, right? That's pretty much it. I would wait for this 15-minute candle to close. If it closed above 142.471, then you could have potential buyers coming up. Otherwise, at this point, you would need a 30-minute candle to close below this level, right? I have sent in the chat. Okay, let's take a look. Let me take a look to see if we've got it.
Maybe need to send it with some text.
Yeah, I haven't got it in the chat. So what you want to do is you want to get this little code. You might know it. You want to go all the way to here. You want to screenshot where it says slash to the other slash, or it says slash x slash etc. You want to screenshot all of that. Put a little space and then just write some text and send that into the YouTube chat, and then we're going to be able to take a look. Otherwise, I can't see it right now. Right, I'm just going to go on mute for a couple of minutes, and then I'll be back on. Alex, if you want to send in your chart, you can take a look. And then apart from that, we're just going to wait over here the next 13 minutes and then see what happens, right? So it's London Open volume. I know those impulsive traders will be looking to probably already be in a buy right now, but for those who want to play the safer game, it's going to be much better to wait for this 15-minute candle to close, and I think you can have a really nice trade after that situation. Now that we have volume coming in, and I think the market is starting to show signs of which way we're now looking to go, but again, we need confirmation. Okay, perfect. Let's take a look then. I'll use this one, that's fine. What do we want to do? Okay, I think I've done something wrong there. Let's go with that. What am I doing wrong? Do it now. Right, let's try now. Okay, nice. So we got pound yen 30-minute chart. So we had a range. Okay, so you're ranging. Price breakout of the range, fake out, close back into the range. Okay, so you took buys based off of that fake out. It's pretty good. Entered once price flipped bullish based off 1 hour, as 1 hour was clean traffic up to fill. TP at 10 pips, nice. Put stop loss at break even, 30-minute rejection. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's very good. I think it made sense. I think you understood that, you know, taking buys here, you were going to have problems in this vicinity, so you knew that you kind of you understood that, and that you took profits at like 10 pips, put stops to break even. So I think it's pretty good. I think it's yeah, I think it's a good trade right there. So very good, nice. Oh, this is why we're gonna have to wait for candles to close over here, man. This is why it's gonna be very important to wait. But yeah, good work, very nice. Right, I'm gonna go on mute for a couple minutes, and then I'll be back. Hello. Sorry, I've just sounded like an idiot. I had myself muted. Now you can hear me. So yeah, basically we got a minute left for this 15-minute candle to close. The only way I would take a buy based off this 15-minute candle closure is if we can close somewhere around like 152 480, 152 500. If we can't close somewhere around there and we close over here, then it's going to be very tricky to take a buy at that point, because we're literally buying when we're closing at resistance, not breaking above, at resistance, because we have resistance right here. This is a strong level, 152 570 is a very strong resistance. I would then at that point much rather wait until we have a candle breaking out of that area and then take a buy to go up to the 700s. But like I say, if this 15-minute candle is going to close where it is right now, then I can, there's no trade for me, right? Then at that point, probably at that point, then I would wait for the 30-minute candle to close, and then let's say we get a pullback and it still closes bullish around like 480, then I think you could have a buy for the next 30-minute to fill the wick and continue. But until then, I would not be buying right here. No. Right, you're buying at 4-hour resistance. It's 1.4 pips away. That's your 4-hour resistance. So yeah, I'm not gonna be taking that trade. Plus stops are big, right? 30-minute hasn't even closed yet. You're at your 30-minute resistance level right here. Yep, your 4-hour resistance is right there as well. So we've got the move up, the deeper move, but it's not good enough. This situation right here, if it closed at around 485, I'd be in the buys, but because it didn't, I'll now be waiting for the 30-minute candle to close. If the 30-minute candle closes above 152.471, then I'm going to take buys to continue bullish. Okay. So once again, I'll be chilling, just doing some bits in the background while we wait. We're going to go till about, I think we'll wait for this 30-minute. If it just doesn't do anything, we're going to call it a day on the stream. Obviously, the live trade room will still be open for the HTG community, but for the minute, we're going to have to wait for the 30-minute candle to close over here, because the 15 minutes closed in a position where I can't really get into a position for me personally. So yeah, we're going to wait over here. Going to be back in a few minutes, or we're going to at least wait for the 30-minute, and then we're going to see what's going on. Alright guys. Right, I'll be back in literally like 5 minutes, and then we're going to do some analysis. If you guys want to get some charts together, any questions, I think it's a good time to ask. We can look at gold as well. But yeah, it would be awesome if you guys get some questions together, anything you want to know, any charts, anything, and then we'll discuss that all. I'll be back in literally a few minutes. Okay, we're back. Sorry. Right. Kelsey, you there?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sorry about that, mate. Right, so still waiting over here. If we look at the 15-minute candle, I think what's interesting is the fact that it's obviously made a bottom wick, giving you the impression that it's gonna move bullish. But until we kind of close above like 152.583, I'm just not so sure we're going to move up yet. I mean, you could argue above 570. Yeah, that would make sense. We've got clean traffic to the left. What's the stop loss on that? Stops are quite big, aren't they? They're like 18 pips. I think with a smaller risk, it could be worth a shot if we're gonna close above there, like 12 pips. Yeah, I think if we can get the full close above 152.584, that would make sense for continuation, but it's a bit of a tricky one right now. Let's wait and see how the 30-minute candle closes over here. We've got 30 seconds. I think you could give it a shot at 152.570, close above. But I'd say if you want the safest opportunity, then basically what you're going to do is you're going to want to see a close above 583. I think that's going to be the best opportunity we're going to get for a buy here this session, unless you got in somewhere lower time frame. But I think it's been quite choppy, to be honest. So I think we're going to have to, yeah, look at this one right over here. Yeah, so I took a buy right here with this 30-minute closure with a less risk trade on that. And I think what we can do is we can just close full straight away at like, I think 152.720 would be a good shout. Okay, we're moving nicely. We've broken the high at this point. Price moving bullish. Got about 3-4 pips. You can see right here. Oh, hold on. You can see right here, just to show you guys there. You can see the profit, the position, plus normal account, everything. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's important to obviously show, you know, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. So that's all that is for me. Don't worry about what's the word? Right. That's okay. Making a little bit of a bottom wick right there. That's fine. I think it's important for it to make a bit of a bottom wick first, but obviously it did move up straight away. I got it on the close. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna wait. I've got plenty of opportunity to manage the trade. If let's say we close back inside this range, then I've got less risk on this particular position, and that's perfectly fine by me, right? So you have to be comfortable in your analysis, and for me, that's the best I'm gonna get for this trade right here. Nah, there's no point even putting the long. I've spoken about this position. I've spoken about what I wanted to do, the idea. So that's fine. You know, even if we want to pull back a little bit into the range, I'm happy with that. You know, but what I'm expecting is for us to respect overall down here, right? And for us to overall respect the low of this 30-minute candle. Okay, but obviously, if this 30-minute candle closes back in the range, well then, you know, there's opportunity to manage the trade at that point, right? But we don't know until we actually go and almost like close above, right? We don't know yet. We don't know what's going to happen till this candle closes. So we don't know whether we're going to go into profit or it's going to be in the drawdown, and we can manage the trade and potentially take a smaller loss, right? That's all I care about as a trader. Can I get a smaller loss, and can I can I also, you know when to hold the trade as well. But I was always expecting a bit of a pullback at this point, but we'll see. Kelsey,
Yes, mate.
did you get in those?
No, I'm not trading this week, am I?
Oh yeah, of
Account.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Still,
hear that
still
one.
waiting on it.
Yeah, fair enough. It's only the first 4 minutes of the 30-minute anyway at this point.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, like it got above on the lower time frames, like the right area. It's just like the 4 hour where it's at. It's a lot of wicks.
Yeah, true. I mean, we'll just see. At the end of the day, if the 30-minute can't stay above, then we will just end up, you know, pulling back, and I can manage the trade. I've only got a 50-cent lot on it, so at the end of the day, it's half risk compared to what I would usually put on the trade. So my risk down over here is only £60, right? Which is not too bad compared to what the loss would be. Let's say I closed anywhere in here, and we're good. You know, it's gonna be like what's it called? 9 pips. So that's not. It's gonna be about £40, £50. You know, maximum. So that's fine. But overall, you know, I would still probably try and hold some of the position as long as we can respect like 152,480. You know, if we can respect 152,480, then I think overall we can still head up as long as the stops are in the right place. But if we do close back, you know, obviously below, let's say 152,570, then at this point this would be like a fake out of this particular range. So I'd much rather have buys on a strong candle that's clearly broken out of a strong resistance, and do it consistently that way. But we don't have any news right now, do we? Because I was just thinking. I did check earlier, but I didn't see any. No, I don't think so. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that running for a little bit over here. I'm gonna leave that running, and we're going to. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back in a minute. So I'm gonna wait to see what happens with this situation. Yeah, the only issue we have is the fact that we are at this daily resistance. But I think that level is also not going to put you off too much, because we've got this level right here. This is also your daily resistance right here. So kind of this whole area that we're coming into is a bit tough anyway. But that's why we're going to have to wait to see what this 30-minute candle does when it closes, right? Okay, we're coming down hard over here. That's fine. Maybe the original sell bias is going to play out now, since we're coming right back into the range over here. But I'm not going to do anything until the 30-minute closes either way. Because if it comes down and hits my stops, then it is what it is. You know, I knew what I was risking, and that's what's important, right? But if it doesn't, then if we still, you know, close, let's say even up over here, then I can get a smaller loss. Yeah, then we're getting a deeper pullback again. But I think, you know, there's still this like clear bullish market structure, right? But I think we're just coming into just we're just rejecting right now. There's definitely rejecting hard. It's definitely rejecting hard, but I think this 30-minute was the shout that made the most sense for continuation. Because if you took buys right here, like, yeah, you know, I think, yeah, maybe like it made sense, you know, like that's your candle. But at the end of the day, you know, you had this next candle come all the way down, retraced, then we flew up, closed above. You know, at least we closed above that area, so you could then at least anticipate, you know, some form of a pullback and then continuation. So well, this music's coming like some depressing music. They changed the song right over there. So yeah, we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see. Because a lot of things can happen. We can get some deep rejections. You know, we just don't know what's gonna happen. You know, like I said, until the candle closes, you don't know whether we faked out or not. While the candle's still open, yeah, there's, you know, a chance that it may come down and hit your stop loss. But you know, you have to think out of the majority of times, what's most likely to happen at that point. But we'll wait and see over here. See how this 5-minute candle closes right here. I think this is an important 5-minute candle just based off the rejections that we're seeing at the point. Anybody else in these buys? Just curious.
Fun if you chucked your what is it, the position thing on, you'd have like double viewers.
Oh yeah, what, the long and short? Yeah, I think, yeah, of course. I don't really like, you know, don't really need to do it like that. Those who are paying attention, that's how I know who's real, because now people who know how I trade know what I'm looking for. You know, they'll be sitting here thinking, okay, you know, we know we need to wait for this, wait for that. Those that just skip streams and, you know, wait for they can see somebody with a long and a short and then try and jump in, like, you know, this just all like, yeah, no, I don't really want anything to do with that. You know what I'm saying? This is about trading. This is about, you know, us being traders. Right. I'm gonna quickly run in and we're gonna see what happens. But I think I'm gonna wait for the 30-minute to close. We're going to see, because realistically we're going to need to create, you know, further support. So we might even get, you know, the next 15-minute candle that goes bullish and that flips the 30-minute bullish. You know, this is just one 15-minute candle pulling back. And as long as we can have the next one, you know, go bullish, then it should be okay. But it's coming down quite hard at this point. Man, I forgot how long streaming was. It feels like I've been doing this for hours, but I've only been on like an hour and 40 minutes.
Off, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, not much has really happened too much. Like, just been waiting.
Yeah, trust me, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's weird because obviously we're looking for sells and sells didn't come, and then, you know, you could have taken buys. You just had to probably have held that pullback candle and then, you know, taken buys up to there. So I suppose if you think about it, you know, that's the trade. Like, if you look at the market structure, you know, you are looking for like a form of buy, you know, to push back up to this resistance, since we created the support right here. But it didn't close like let's say if you actually look, it did not close back above this support. So how, you know, that candle right there is not good enough, you know. So then it becomes a case of, this is your candle, right? This is your candle right here. Yeah, that's your candle to push up to there, and then that's it. But you were gonna risk 20, and you know, you had to sit through the drawdown of that candle, etc. What's happening now is, because we've got this candle that's moved up, you know, it's closing above, but at the same time, basically what we're seeing is it pulling back, right? It pulling back because this is the move. This is the move. Right, so technically there to there it's done, but what I'm anticipating is, okay, could see a little bit of drawdown because we're pulling back, because you know, we're closing above there, and obviously we've done the move, so to speak. But what I want to anticipate is that some form of support is going to be formed, and we're going to then start to flip up, and then with momentum finish off the 4 hour somewhere over there, and then hopefully see that continuation up to here. Right, that's what I'm kind of anticipating, but obviously I need to wait to see what's going to happen with the closure. Otherwise, I don't know whether we're going to go bullish, we're going to go bearish, or what. You know, we've still got 15 minutes left for me to know. Okay, Oscar Ray, sell out. Everything muted until FOMC decision later today. Yeah, maybe, but you know, that's fine. You know, I'm only anticipating a continuational move based off what I see. But I'm already, you know, looking at the fact that I'm in drawdown, right? So this is it for me, yeah. I stick to my plan, okay? That's the one thing I have to understand. You have to understand is I'm going to stick to my trading plan. So for me, this candle right here is my drawdown. So now I am looking at, okay, what's going to be the thing that's going to make me stay out of this trade, right? And for me right now, nothing, because you know, we're still respecting bullish market structure, right? As long as this 15-minute candle can go bullish and let's say close back above like 152.583, then this 30-minute candle will close in a way that there should be some continuation, right? And that's all it is for me. Okay, but yeah. But anyway, guys, literally bear me 1 minute. I just got to go and take a phone call. So we're going to stay on and see what happens. Right, we're back. Right, let me change this tune. A bit more Mexican style. Right, let's take a look over here. Let's see what's going on. If I start to see lower time frame rejection, then I'm going to start closing out my position. Right, but I don't know what's going on yet. We also have to think about if the 30-minute candle is breaking, let's say like its own low in the last 10 minutes, what's the chances that it's going to retrace all the way back, you know, in the last 5? It doesn't make sense, does it? So as you can see, this 5-minute candle is looking like a rejection style 5-minute candle. So it's very tricky right now to know. So we're going to see. So this 5-minute candle's closed like a rejection style 5-minute candle. So I mean, it's looking pretty tricky at this point. But the 50-minute candle hasn't closed yet. The 30-minute hasn't closed yet. So we're gonna have to wait. We may need another liquidity grab to move up, right? Because we're still clearly holding bullish market structure. Until we see, you know, something actually genuinely faking out, we don't know at that point. Well, we was always going to get some form of a pullback, right? We was always going to get some form of a pullback. So now we're just kind of waiting to see how this 30-minute candle closes.
Yeah, I mean, you still got the hour. If it closes like this, you're still closing bullish. Like, you could get the wick fill next candle.
Yeah, that's tricky because that to me is a sign of rejection. So, you know, it's very tricky at that point. We have to think about as well, this 4 hour, realistically, where's it going to close? Right? So now my job is to think about, you know, at the end of the day, if we're still going to hold bullish market structure, then the buys could be fine, right? This might just be a smaller pullback. But what's important is what happens right now. How this 30-minute closes, how the 1 hour closes. You know, if we're getting closes above, fine. You know, we could expect continuation. If the 4 hour is moving back bullish, then I'm happy to hold that position. However, if we're not still holding bullish market structure, then there's no point. You know, if we're going to close down here, then we're not holding bullish market structure. But you know, like I said, I'd much rather close it somewhere over here than having a full stop loss hit. But in the same way, I do need to see confirmation for continuation, right? Okay, sorry. I'm gonna change the song. I don't know why they're playing. But yeah, we still got 7 minutes over here, so it's tricky. You know, we don't know yet. Again, what's with these tunes, man? They wasn't too bad earlier. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait over here. But yeah, I know there's FOMC later on. That's around 7:30, but that usually affects the USD a lot more. And then what you'll find is that there'll be a spike move with pound, because it's about the risk sentiment in the market, in the general markets. So I mean, you have that, but right, these tunes are just getting a bit. Right, let's just turn the tunes off for a bit. Let's just have general chit chat. Right, so we got gold just coming down. But we're focusing on pound yen over here. Yeah. I think looking back, it was actually a shame that that candle literally just closed below, didn't it? Like
Just
like, because if it didn't, like we said, what would have been the opportunity, to get into a buy, to push up to there, and then look to retest this resistance? That would have been fine. That's the type of idea I was looking for, but we didn't get that confirmation. We could have very easily created a resistance and continue down. The only way I would argue you could have caught that trade is based off of, let's say, like the 5 minute maybe, but then realistically it just doesn't kind of make sense. Maybe this 5 minute candle you could have looked at getting into to push back up, but these are very intricate entries. You'd have to wait for like this type of like 30-minute first, and then go and use a smaller time frame entry. So maybe, but then you just don't know with them sort of candles whether the next one's definitely going to continue down or not. But yeah, we're going to wait over here and see what happens. Last 5 minutes now. I think if the last 5 minute candle can like respect the lows right here, then it could continue back up. But we'll have to see, because we also have this rejection area on the 5. It all works the same, right? You have to treat the 5 minute how you would look at a 30-minute chart. What makes sense? Well, we close below there, so we don't know whether this candle, right, is going to push up like this, make out it wants to move back up to here, and then finish off like this, and then we really are rejecting again to potentially what? Fake out deeper, right? So we have to be careful at this point. But what I'm looking at is this 5 minute. Maybe because we engulfed over here, right, that we could continue up, but we need to do a couple of things. Break here. We also need to respect kind of this low area, or at least these wicks. If we start breaking the wicks, then out, because it's just last 5 minutes. If that's going to break those wicks, we're going to come and hit stops at the end of the day. But if we start breaking them up, these kind of rejection wicks, maybe we're going to come back up to here, and we'll see how the candle finishes, right? But again, we don't know yet. We don't know it yet. But I think what I'll do is, if we close back in the range, I'll manage the trade, and then that way if it comes and hits stop loss, then it's going to be a much smaller loss than anticipated. But if we do continue, then we would at least make some form of a profit back, right? But you have to understand your position and etc. So we're gonna see, and then we're gonna finish off. But I just want to say I appreciate everybody coming on today. So thank you very much. It was nice to be back. I do appreciate everybody coming on the YouTube. So if you've enjoyed today's stream, it's been a good discussion. Trade is a trade. Shouldn't be doing what I do. You should be sticking to what you do, your trading plan, and I'll stick to my trading plan, right? So think about that.
last couple of minutes, we might see a little push.
Yeah, I think it would be nice. I think it would be really nice if we can push back up to where we left off. I think that would be nice. You want to see a strong 15-minute candle, because the issue you have is weaker 15-minute candles at this point mean we could be running out of steam, you know, with this clear, like, look at the heavy pullback, right? Pullback, pullback, pullback. So yeah, we continue, but look, we had strong candle for continuation, right? So you had two strong candles for continuation. This candle right here, is it really cutting it? Maybe, maybe not. So one, we'll have to see how it closes, right? If it closes weak, rejection, right, then we know that it's probably not the best situation to hold the trade, right? But if we close maybe somewhere up over here, decent sized candle, you could give it a shout, you know, looking at how we're going to react over here. If you start to see it flip, just close it somewhere over here. That's still going to be less than your stops over there, and that's all you have. That's all you can do as a trader, you know. Prepare for different outcomes, but also understand when you're wrong, right? So last 10 seconds. Just trying to move up last 10.
Yeah, now the fail is quite nice. It's like it's rejecting.
1 hour's closing above, it seems. Yeah, I think.
Quite a nice close.
30 minute. 30 minute.
It would have been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what? It did close above the 4-hour R at 152.550, which is right over here. It did close above that, actually. It did respect it on the 30 minute. So potentially, yeah, we could actually still continue up at this point. I think the only way we're going to continue bullish is if this 15-minute candle can respect the low. I think if it starts breaking the lows at like 152.436, then you could just close your position, because we should at least kind of come back up to like 152.583, but maybe it wants to reject hard. Who knows? It's the new 30-minute. I think we could see a continuation. It looked like a decent 1 hour close, but then again, 4 hours still got an hour left, so we don't really know yet, do we? But if the 30-minute starts flipping bullish, however, then we could see continuation. So there was a lot of volume, right? There was a lot of volume, but I think, yeah, we're just kind of sitting here waiting a long time. We have to see. Plus the candle had little to no wick. That's not always a bad thing. I think any 5-minute closes below 152.454 just out, because we've been holding that support since 8 a.m. So any kind of closes below there, you know, you just want to be out. Plus, you look at the 5-minute and you would just say, yeah, seems like we're starting to slack off, you know, from this, your rejections, your bullish market structure, right? Now we're starting to fade off. So you want to be careful. This is coming down.
I literally just looked down on my phone and looked back up 2 minutes later. It's like, come all the way down. Just feel like brick already.
Yeah, this is gonna be some
tricky situation, isn't it? To like.
Yeah, it's either like a mad grab, or this is just gonna be a big fake out. But it would seem kind of mad to think it would come down this hard and still go bullish. But I mean, we've seen worse. I've seen more scarier GJ situations. So we just have to see. I think I would close it if a 5-minute closes below 152.450, because I would not like that situation. You know. But stops are in a good place for the minute. But anyway, I think we're going to finish it on the YouTube now. I think we're going to finish on the YouTube, and I think we're just going to, yeah, I think I'm just going to call it a day on the YouTube at this point. So if anyone's in buys or just wondering how or what I'm looking to do, obviously what I'm looking at is obviously maybe how this 15 closes. If this 15 closes, let's say below 152.488, again I would be looking to close that trade. So this is the good thing about when, you know, maybe you're in a position but you're in drawdown but your stops are here. You can look at within your trade by holding it, you know, areas that you might be like, okay, well that doesn't really make sense. So for example, if we start closing below this kind of zone, out, right? You'd be out of that situation. If we don't, if we respect this zone and we're tapping into this and we're gonna start doing this, come back up to here, then you know, you're happy to hold that situation. But you got to understand what it's doing to know whether you're happy to hold that situation or not, right? So first of all, I think it's gonna be important to see at least how this first 5 minutes closes, right? Because if it engulfs this kind of you know, 15-minute candle support on the 5 minute, it's starting to show signs already. So you need to become a bit more prepared at that point, or at least start looking at how you could use that little indication to do better. But overall, I'm interested in the 30-minute. But you use the smaller time frames. You use the smaller time frames, you know, to understand how they're making up your current candle. Okay, so it hasn't really broken where we've opened at the previous 15, so that's good, but still, it's a big candle, but I am happy that it's not quite done that yet. But anyway, guys, on the YouTube, we're gonna finish off there. Obviously, you know where my targets are. You know what I'm looking at. You know that I'm looking to close positions using the smaller time frames at this point, because I don't want to see, you know, at the moment this 5-minute candle is a concern because we now have a lower resistance building. So I mean, if we do get another bearish 5-minute and it comes down, it looks like this, then you know you would want to close that position, in my opinion. Stops over here, so you're in a good spot for the minute, as long as we can get further bullish candles showing signs that, you know, potentially there is room for continuation. Okay, very, very important. So use the smaller time frames, and yeah, let's see how it goes. But it's only the first 7 minutes, so plenty of time to see what happens. But anyway, thanks very much everyone on the YouTube, really appreciate it. If you could drop a like on the stream, that'd be great. So yeah, stay tuned for the Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Instagram's right here, down at the bottom bit right here. You want to be following me there, _H_FX_. That I think will remain the same for a bit. Then I'm going to try and change it in the future. But the whole point of that is to basically let you know about any announcements in terms of YouTube and anything I want to do. So I'll be able to give you the details on there. But yes, so as it stands, probably going to do twice a week, maybe something like that. But I'll get back to you guys with a confirmation. But I thought I'd come on today. Maybe we'll do one tomorrow or the day after. Friday I think would be good. Friday would be a nice stream. Don't necessarily have to trade on a Friday. It's just about you know, providing the education, looking at the week, and preparing for the next week. So that's what you have to think. So yeah, alright then guys, appreciate everyone coming on, like I said, and yeah, we will see you guys probably Friday, but we'll let you know. Thank you very much guys, take care, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Take care everyone.